All right, so the Summer Cup, one of Gauteng's biggest and most prestigious annual sporting events, which combines the finest in horse racing, entertainment, as well as fashion, is back at the Turffontein Racecourse today. The event will see the horses compete for 2 million rand. Joining us to speak to us more about the event is Fundi Sithebe. She is the CEO of 4 Racing. Good morning, Fundi. Thank you so much for joining us here up bright and early on the weekend report. Obviously, the event back after a 2-year break. I can imagine the excitement. Tell me also about the preparations that have gone into, making this race-coursing event a success after a 2-year break.
Top of the morning. Thank you very much for having me, Rachel. Excuse the croaky voice, but this is testament to the hard work that we've put into today. It is a beautiful day out in Johannesburg, and we have themed it the Golden Summer because, like you say, it is been 2 years of not having mass scale events. And this is probably one of those events that will start to start the festive season, kickstart the festive season in Johannesburg and in South Africa as a whole. So today, you've mentioned earlier on in your introduction that it really is about premium racing event with the best trainers, the best owners, the best jockeys, the best horses, of course, and our grooms. So it's been a culmination, and the stakes are quite decent. We've raised it up to 2.5 million rand. So the winning horse for the Betway Summer Cup today will get 2.5 million rands worth in stakes. Apart from that, just a family fun day. We've catered for kids in our kiddies play area. We've catered for halftime entertainment. We're the only horse racing event that has got a halftime show, and we hope that's going to bring in the glitz and the glamour, featuring Ladies Amar. We've got a summer garden, just a day that caters to everyone, and we encourage everybody to come in their numbers. And of course, if they can't join us today, it is going to be broadcast SABC on DSTV on a multiple number of channels. So really a great day out, and invite everybody to join us.
Looking forward to it, Fundi. Tell me though about the field that has been assembled, the race jockeys, the horses themselves, the trainers. How's the field looking like ahead of today's festivities?
Rachel, it's a strong field. It's a strong field of 19. You hardly ever see that across the major races in South Africa. So we are very proud that we could get 19 horses in this field. Of notable to mention is Sparkling Water, who is the favorite for this race. Sparkling Water, you'll recall, won the Durban July earlier on in July this year, and was ridden by Smanga Khumalo, the jockey being Smanga Khumalo rather, the trainer being Mike de Kock, and the owner being Mary Sklack. So hot favorites going into this race. Again, we're hoping that they can do what has not really been done a whole lot in history, to take both the Durban July and the Summer Cup. We've also got Red Saxon with Muzieni and Joe Soma as the trainer. We've got Safe Passage. We've got, of course, MK's Pride, wearing the Chiefs colours and owned by our very own Tate Nkale. So really a strong field of contenders. And we say, may the best man and the best horse win today. Let me not even leave it there. We have the first female rider, jockey in this race in the history of the 135 years of the Summer Cup, being Rachel Vineca, riding Shango, trained by Sean Terry. So that's a first for us, and we are holding thumbs, and we just wish Rachel all the success as she makes her pathway in this amazing industry.
Why do you think it has taken that long, to have a female involved? I mean, in the history, 135 years history of the Summer Cup, it has taken long to have a woman involved as well.
Wow, Rachel, this is, perhaps I need to come in for a cup of coffee for this one to unpack it. But to cut a long story short, there's just been certain pockets of the industry that have largely been dominated by males, right? So jockeys being one of them, because it is, jockeys are athletes, Rachel. So it does take its toll on your body, and you have to be a certain size, a certain build. And as a result, the women, the female jockeys tend to not have longevity in the industry. And it's part of the concerted effort we need to put in together as an industry to bring in more jockeys. I mean, it's almost an indictment that we celebrate Rachel on the one hand, but in the same breath, Rachel is the only female jockey in the entire industry of well over 60 jockeys that operate in the space. So a lot of work needs to be done at a grassroots level. A lot of work that we're trying to do is creating that visibility, that awareness of the various opportunities and jobs that exist in horse racing. So that's just one example. Ownership, we've got a few female owners, but we need to definitely bring in more. We are consistently on a drive to bring in newer owners, younger owners, a broader audience into the ownership space. And finally, being the only female CEO in the operator space, probably one of the few globally as well. It's my responsibility to make sure that, we train in other young and upcoming executives into the space. So a big job for us ahead, Rach.
All right, Fundi, we're running out of time, but very quickly, someone is watching this interview from home and is trying to understand what is the difference between the Summer Cup as well as the Durban July. Briefly, please.
So very, very briefly, it's just another accolade, right? So Durban July and the Summer Cup in terms of racing, probably on par. Obviously, the Durban July will have far bigger stakes. I mean, that has been popular for numerous for years. But the Betway Summer Cup is equally compelling from a horse racing perspective, from a betting perspective, equally compelling with top trainers, top jockeys, etc. It just so happens that it's hosted in Gauteng, in the city of Johannesburg, by 4 Racing as the operator and not Gold Circle, who operate the Durban.
Fundi Sithebe, the CEO of 4 Racing, they're speaking to us ahead of the festivities. Today, the return of the Summer Cup, one of Gauteng's most prestigious races taking place this afternoon out at the Turffontein Racecourse.